Well, good morning, everyone. It's a fairly cool but a little bit humid and clammy morning here on the farm. I'm getting ready to do some mowing. I have already done some car repairs this morning. Now it's time to do some mowing, but I thought before I did the mowing, I would show you our Three Sisters plot. Now this is a experiment for us. We did a traditional Three Sisters. Well, traditional is a play on words there with most people because there's lots of ways that are considered traditional for the Three Sisters setup. And if you're not familiar with Three Sisters setup, there's plenty of real good information about it online. But with a Three Sisters setup, you're using a nitrogen fixer such as a legume, which, you know, beans, peas, so forth. Pole beans work real well. Bush beans will work. And then you're also planting something like squash to shade out the weeds. And then you're planting your corn, which is a big thing with the Native Americans. And it's a big thing with me. But then you're planting your corn. And corn obviously really sucks nutrients out of the ground. I mean, it seriously sucks some nutrients out of the ground. Heavy feeder. So, and then you can plant cucumbers, any kind of a cucurbit. But anyway, I wanted to show you what we got here and see how it's going. I've got trellising that needs to be done. I've got a lot that we need to get accomplished here, but show you what we got. And then we're doing another experiment within an experiment. See what you think about that. You can comment below, let me know if you've tried it. What do you think? So let's turn you around. So here is a row of cucumbers all the way around 3 sides. And then here we have pinto beans. Now this is what they consider an upright habit bush pinto bean. As you can see, we've got a little something going on in between there, and I'll talk to you about that here in just a minute. But the beans are looking very nice. Got some nice blooms going on. Very happy with that. So it won't be long. We'll have beans that are looking good. So now what we're doing here, this is a modified, sorry about the focus there. This is a modified Three Sisters setup, and it's a rotational style. So what we'll do is we'll do this for 3 years at least and see how it goes, unless it just really is horrid this year, but it's looking good so far. So we'll rotate the corn to the right where the beans are. So each year you'll rotate to the right. The beans will go where the squash and the other cucumbers are. And then the squash and the cucumbers will obviously go down and replace where the corn's at. Now how that works is the corn's a heavy feeder, so it will move into where the beans are, which are not a heavy feeder, and they repair the nitrogen in the soil. So they will move over here. Now we'll still fertilize these plots, but they'll move over here and follow the beans. So that'll help keep the corn looking good every year. And we're getting a crop rotation here. And so then the beans will go over and fix the ground that the squash was on. And then the squash will move down and take care of where the corn is. So one helps the other. So we've got 2 rows of winter squash that needs to be weeded between, as you can see. But we got 2 rows of winter squash. And then we have some bush beans, and I don't remember what we planted here. And I've got some bush beans over there. I think maybe those were a Chinese red noodle. You know, I said bush. That might have been a pole bean we planted. That might have been the Chinese red noodle beans. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and check records. So I just tilled this, and we'll probably come in here and plant some beans here. This is a row of cucumbers, and that is a row of cucumbers, and they need to get trellised this weekend. So they'll get them up off the ground. They'll just do much better that way. They're starting to set fruit right now. But take you down here and let you see the corn, and then we'll talk about the other experiment we got going on here. So the corn's looking lovely. Now we went a little bit more in depth here. So we've got corn there, and of course there. And this is an heirloom variety called Double Red, so it's a red corn. And then in between, we have a bush bean, and then planted with the corn, we have a pole bean. The pole bean I do know is Chinese red noodle here. I can't remember. Let's see, the bush bean is Robert's Royalty. So both of these will be a red bean. One's a bush, and one is a I think this was red bean. I swear to nothing, but that is for sure. And that'll be a pole bean. It'll grow up the corn. So the corn's looking great. We're very happy with the corn here. I had a little bit, not much, maybe 10% of lack of germination. Now, this lack of germination is not all just the corn. We have a problem with the church next door, which is our church. We got some, and we just figured this out, we got some runoff comes off their parking lot. The rest of it sloped back towards their parking lot, but I got one spot here at the top that is sloping towards this field, so we're getting some water run across here. And we're getting ready to work on that. I just talked to them. We're going to cut a little ditch over here on the other side of the fence in order to direct the water down the hill. So we had a few huge rainstorms, and I think we washed some seeds away because watching the pattern, a lot of the lack of germination was across this plot. And I think that diagonal cross was the water. So, and then we got a few places that didn't germinate, just like here we've got 2 or 3 seeds, and that still could have been wash off. We still could have had wash off. And birds, obviously. We raise chickens and ducks, and so it's hard to say. But anyway, it still was only about 10%, so we're happy with that. Now here is a hot pepper planting. These are all habanero types, and I got a couple of basil down there also. But these are all habanero types that are starting to produce. We got Saco de Velhos here. Can't see the tags on all these, but I know we got West Indies red habaneros. We got lightning habaneros. Then there's basil. These are Puma habaneros. That's getting ready to produce its first couple of pods. They're a really pretty pepper. They got that habanero heat, but they don't have that habanero the fruitiness that you get on a lot of them. And we got chocolate habaneros in here. And I don't know, I can't remember. There's a lot. So here we got, these are the West Indies red habaneros. Obviously not ripe yet, but pod is looking very good. So happy about that. And there's basil. Such a good smell. Got a little weeding to do there. Now up here I've got some Jimmy Nardellos. That's a long red sweet pepper. And over here I've got some shishitos. Looking very nice. Looks like I'll have shishitos at market this weekend. Look at that thing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That'll make some customers happy. Very nice. Okay, let's go talk about our experiment. So, obviously all this is new for us, so we're seeing how it works. Just because someone else says it does doesn't mean it will. Oh yeah, and this is a walk path, so we don't have to walk all the way around the garden to get to stuff, so left this open. I was going to leave 2 open, 1 between each plot, but turned out I needed the spot, so I used it. But what you'll see here, some of y'all may have already spotted this. We've planted sweet potatoes. Now, not in between everything. There's a row of sweet potatoes here. There's a row of sweet potatoes here and here. And then we skip one so we can pick the beans. This needs to be re-tilled. We did most of this with a wheel hoe, and some of the spots just didn't get done. And then here we have a row of sweet potatoes, beans, sweet potatoes, and then we skipped 2 because just of placement. And then we have beans, sweet potatoes, beans, skipped, beans, and sweet potatoes. Now, what we're hoping is that this will grow and flourish and not interfere with our beans. That the sweet potato vines stay close to the ground, and we're hoping we can keep them fairly contained, and they'll benefit slightly from the nitrogen that the beans are pulling up. So like I said, if you have done that before, comment below, let us know what's going on with yours and how yours worked out. And we'll share, as always on this channel, we share the good, the bad, and the ugly. If it works, it works. I mean, you see our weeds and everything. You would have seen this was quite grown up, and you would have seen that. But we literally just weeded this 2 or 3 days ago. About 4 days ago, actually. So, again, we're real happy with the corn. I can tell you this corn is growing much better with the beans in between it, coincidence or whatever. It is growing much better than the corn I have down in the field. So, all right, y'all take care.